folks, good morning and welcome back to the channel. So we're taking a quick look at the fear and greed index here this morning. It is at 47, which is around a neutral. It seems to be picking up. It's been up and down recently and there's been a bit of a strange development. We're going to be covering that at some point in the video this morning. So let's move over to what is current. Let's get you up to scratch. Let's get you up to date and let's go through everything that I've sort of pulled together within the past 24 hours, what I thought was relevant to the LUNC community. There's some good stuff, and honestly, there is some more good stuff, but there are questions to ask and there are things to go over. So first of all, we have got from what I've confirmed, Vin is leading the L1 team. He is being the project manager, so to speak. So the remaining funds from Q3 has been returned to the CP. As we can see here, there is a transaction. We'll be going over to that shortly. The L1, they're stating they will now enter maintenance mode for Q4. And it's supposed to be for more or less for like $9,000 as far as we're aware. And there's always this thought in the back of my mind, is there any foul play? And this all comes down to the thing of asking questions and getting answers. The biggest issue is currently with the L1. They're not very good at giving answers, and I'm actually having to like pester these people back-to-back messages, and it's just not the way things should be. LBA was so good because he worked with everybody. Nobody was below him. He didn't have a condescending attitude, and he always had the time to take your call and try and get what the community are envisioning into the L1 development. So with this all being said, they are saying they're going to resolve Astroport situation, which I don't understand how they're going to resolve that. So basically Astroport is discontinued its support, but they've given out a code repository. Basically they can spin this up for the chain, they can utilize the pools and they can make it happen. So I think this is just poor wording. I could be wrong. They're going to resolve chain issues. This is a really broad term and honestly I'm not buying into it, but it's good news nonetheless. And then support PRs for governance approved L1 logic. This is a little bit because this is a very centralized term. L1 logic, what does this mean? You're only going to accept stuff that you folks understand, and if you don't understand it, it's not going to be getting approved. What does this mean? And this is the whole thing of like outreach, right? You need to have good community PR, and without sounding like a total a-hole, if you've listened to the podcast with Vin, you will understand where I'm coming from. At the end of the day, I can barely speak English myself, and that's being generous to the statement. But honestly, you have to be able to communicate. It's not just being able to communicate with the devs. That's very important, but also with the community, because each crypto is built on its community. Without its community, it's nothing. And this is something time and time and time again is forgotten, and it's just like, yeah, the chain runs on its own legs, and it does and it doesn't. Without investments, without people holding a bag, without people believing, we are nothing. We're no better than the next shitcoin on the block. So moving forward, like I was saying, there are some questions to be had. Something that is worrying me is they are looking into hiring L2s, and this is the focus of onboarding L2s, when realistically the current issues are more lack of management, lack of community engagement, and just sheer lack of communication with the validators. It shouldn't be like this, but it is, and the only thing that's going to change it is if they accept someone like LBA if they want to move forward, because eventually another team's going to come up. People will be found, people will get interested, there's money in the CP, it can be utilized, and all we need is a trusted figure moving forward that the community trust to put themselves in that position and take the weight of the blockchain on their shoulders. It's a big ask, but if you do things right, you've got nothing to worry about. So like I was saying, there are questions to be had. They've stated the remaining funds have been sent back to the CP, but there is still 306 million in this wallet. So 344 million has been returned. As we can see here, that's the transaction for that. So I have asked them, I've reached out so many times to these people. Like I said, you've got to keep just on and on and on to try and get a response. I want to know how do you have 306 million just sat there remaining? It doesn't make sense. Where the spend quarters are done. They've not proposed a spend proposal. What's going on? And once again, it's all part of this lack of communication, and they're building in a vacuum. And if you don't know what that means, it's like they're just building with all the doors closed. They don't care about collaborating with anyone. They don't care about accepting anyone. The very condescending attitude. And this whole sort of thing of going back to what Vin said about approved L1 logic, I don't like these kind of statements, but it's steps in the right direction, right? It's better than them coming out and just going, oh, we're not returning the funds and stuffed a lot of you. There are good things to be had from this. So hopefully we get a response from this, and hopefully I can update you in the future. So, hey, by the way, has anybody noticed there isn't any spam proposals anymore? This is really good. You're seeing them come up in the deposit area. That's not an issue. Not seeing them here is absolutely great. And this has done what it set out to do. It was really sad I didn't get to propose and get to pass this through myself, and we all know who completely stole it out from underneath me. But ultimately the goal was reached, and that has been done. And it's so important that we notice these small changes and think to ourselves, this is a very clean environment moving forward. We can be very focused. Whatever proposals go up are going to get a lot of attention instead of being so many different proposals and stuff like that. People are really thinking about a proposal. They're going through, they're taking the effort to refine things before they even bother getting to the voting process, because they know the risk of losing 5 million LUNC is there. It outweighs it, and it introduces an environment where people have to give a crap, and they actually have to put effort, work, and time into what they're doing, instead of just constantly these half-hearted proposals, which are just sort of completely out of our control. We've seen that recently. So yeah, very interesting. We have got an update rolling out mid-November, which is very important for us. We're going to be covering that in an individual video and trying to go over V3 as best as we can. So something else to take note of, the dynamic commission is incoming. It is ready. It has been finalized from what I'm being made aware. This is so important for us moving forward. No one has been able to get the LUNC community and validators to come together and agree we need to decentralize the voting power. And if this means that the big validators have to take a huge income hit from this chain, then that's what it takes. And we had a strong yes vote on this. This wasn't something that was close, one-sided, or 75-ish%. This was very strong towards yes. It's very important because this shows we have the trust, we have the faith of these bigger validators. And what we need to do is create an environment as to which they look at us and go, do you know what? Let's just go and build over there. They're doing really well. They're doing things right. It's looking really good. It's looking appetizing, enticing. And this is all part of creating a stable environment, a stable background for people to just come and build, grab their endpoints, do what they need to do, and know that everything's being taken care of. There isn't this constant draining of the community pool. And once again, showing the community right now that even with removing a paycheck and these people making a huge deal of it, saying it's going to be a big thing and we're going to take a big hit and it's going to be the best team ever leaving, it's done absolutely nothing negative. The only things that have happened are positive. The community pool's growing. As you can see here, it's almost at 2.1 billion. If you add the USTC in, you're closer to 3.2 billion at this point. So it's really good. We're building things up. So BTC did a very strange fake out, and this did lead to a very strong liquidation. I've read ranges from 50 million to 100 million. And it was all down to a fake post. And this is all part of how quickly the incentives can change in the crypto market, just how quickly it can go up and then all of a sudden get confirmed and it goes down. We should always confirm things as best as we can, go do our own research before we ape into anything. This is going to be so important moving forward with the bull run, because honestly, it is coming, and there's a lot of different articles we're seeing about these repetitive patterns that are seen in pre-halving years. We're coming into the peak of it, where We can see the halving event. It's coming close on the countdown and things are starting to align. And all we can do is build as best as we can in these very painful times. There is never going to be any glory without pain. And that's so important in crypto moving forward, for people to understand that, a lot of the people that have made it have suffered time and time again, making mistakes and making those wrongs so they can make the rights in the future. And it's, once again, all part of doing your own research, going out, learning, researching, and being in the know and knowing what's going on the external markets and the internal markets. I mean, if you haven't seen Loom recently, it's going absolutely insane. And the majority of people, they're just aping into it. But if you actually go and look at it, it's more or less just another Cosmos-based chain, runs on Cosmos SDK, runs on decentralized governance and validators and stuff like that. But what they've got there is so important, because they've got all of the guides, all of the different things. But once again, part of understanding what's going on externally so you can understand what's going on internally. Now, I'm going to end this with quite a good comment. We have got White Whale and Sencom, which they're all part of the same thing. I'm sort of piecing together the parts. There's a lot of ongoings currently in the background. We're going to be doing a podcast. They are likely going to be coming over to the chain if they're not already on the chain already. Like I said, still doing a lot of research. I want to go into this one as best as I can for you, the community. But this is really good, so keep an eye out for this one. Other than that, folks, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. Let me know how your weekends went. Let me know what you've been drinking this morning. I really do need to stop drinking coffee. I was thinking about doing green teas, the sort of more healthy things, decaffeinated stuff like that. Let me know, folks. Catch you in the next one. Ciao.